Okay, so let's see what I'm doing here. I'm going to take this meat, I'm going to load it into the pans. Now, one thing I've learned over the years is that loading towards the left is harder than loading towards the right. Okay, so what I do, and uh, this is, I'm quite like I've loaded a fair number of pans in my day, and so I kind of went overboard on that. So I always load towards the right, and it might just because I'm right-handed and that's just the direction that I go. You guys can play around with that and see what you think is good. Okay. Um, I need to build up my setup so that I'm not dealing with just 16 pans, but I need to get my get on the making my setup. I need lots more pans, which is why I made that second forge because I'm definitely going to fill that with pans. Pans or bowls, I'm not sure. Okay, so somebody mentioned this strategy, and we mentioned it earlier. And the strategy is to take meat, and you could even mince it too if you want, and put it into the frying pan and make it turn into, what is it called? Fried steak, I think. Backpack would not fit in the oven. Let me see. Can I get rid of one of these cauldrons? Water, pour, and put these in the cauldron. There we go. Okay. Oh, it's already turning. I gotta turn my sleep bonus on for the turning. Okay, so I have a full bar of sleep bonus. I feel like I got it for free. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, I put this meat into the cauldron simply to get it warm, so that way things go faster. Okay, but what I'm gonna do instead is I'm just gonna bring some over here so I can fill as I take. So I'm gonna take when they turn into fried, and I'm gonna put back, okay, like this, okay? And when I have a second, once I get a good number of fried, what I'm gonna do is load the fried ones into the pottery bowls, okay? And excuse the fact that I have such a little setup here, because I'm definitely gonna build a bigger setup, but for now, this is like my mini setup. Grab the fried, replace it with the diced, okay, and hopefully the meat that's at the bottom is going to get hot so that as I'm doing this, it goes faster. So I'm not waiting. Okay, and once I get a good number of meat, fried meat, maybe I'll wait for one more round. And let's actually move this over so I can see my hot food cooking as it goes up. Okay, so right now it's going slowly up. I've gotten 0.11 so far, but things are happening slowly right now. But once I get this hot, I'm gonna change out a few more. It'll start picking up speed. And then what's going to happen is it's going to really pick up speed when I fill up the pottery bowls with this hot fried meat and it starts turning into meals. And then all of a sudden I'm going to start getting like tons of gains. Okay, and you can imagine doing this with 2 ovens, one full of frying pans, and one full of pottery bowls. Ultimately, I think I might just skip that step and go right to pan filling. But that's for another day. Okay, let's start filling this. And I need more fried meat, which I can grab here. It is very micromanagey. If you are not a micromanagey type person and you don't like this sort of gameplay, cooking is not for you. Cooking is very micromanagey. Even even when you're not grinding and just making a thing, like you have to chop the parsley and put the parsley in the bowl at the same time and pour a certain water and like combine that with other things. Like it's just like lots of little fiddling around with lots of little pieces. It's definitely not for everybody. It's definitely for some people though. Some people love it. And I would say I'm kind of in between. I kind of like it. There's definitely something about it that's fun. It's not something I'd like to focus every minute of my gameplay on. But right now, what's happening in our alliance is that we had somebody who was, whoops, we had somebody who was like right into cooking, and he was like totally fell in love with it, and then he had to take a break from the game, and so our alliance is now without food, and so I thought I'd just grind up. Maybe I can get myself to 30 today, maybe. I want to expand those pottery bowls because I'm going to just put them into this shelf here. Once things are hot, they cook so quick. And every time one thing pops, you have a chance at getting a skill tick. Like look, I'm already at 0.5. And honestly, 0.5 with this tiny little setup, like this is a mini setup. And yet it's still going up like pretty decently fast, I'd say. Like compare this to imping. And yeah, once I'm focusing on this, it's really hard to focus on chat. So I'll take a break from this in a second. It won't take too long to get through all this meat, I don't think. Let's grab a bit more. And then I'm going to show you something else. Look, we took 2 hours to wrap back around to change the sacrificing. Yeah. How's the pizza coming? We're getting there. Yeah, so serotonin, you like the hot food cooking, yeah. Yeah, you like the appeal of easy 70 skill dumping by dumping 50 forges. Yeah. Yeah. Um it is fun. There was this one time I paid for pan filling service and I didn't fill the pans. I arrive and they already have filled the pans. This was like a great service. It cost quite a bit of money though, right? Like I paid maybe 40, 50 silver or something like this. And I think it was something like, it was something like, I want to say, so each forge has 100 pans and there might have been 30 or 40 forges or something. There's a big room full of forges. I can't exactly remember. That doesn't sound right. But anyway, it was something like that. So I arrive, the pans are already all filled. All I need to do is walk to each forge, take out every pan and put them back in so that I'm the one who gets the skill. And yeah, it was great. It was great skill. I was doing it for the soul depth though back then. So back then, this is when before we knew that soul depth didn't do anything. So I mean my hot food cooking went right through the roof. It's part of the reason why how I ended up with 99.9 hot food cooking, doing those sorts of things. Let's see, what's my skill at? I got 1.1 skill already. Like I don't know, like this. There's something about the ease at which this skill is going up when I'm not even really doing all that much. right? And all that preparation I was doing, I honestly wasn't really doing all that much preparation. I was just sort of wasting time to talk to you guys. I could have done this right away because I already had this set up. But now I have a second forge, which is something oven, I mean, which is something that I really wanted. I needed to do that before I made another batch of frying pans or pottery bowls or something. Okay, I'm gonna wait for a bunch of these breakfasts to finish. I should check the oven. It does say it'll burn for a long time. I'll keep this open just in case I need to grab wood scraps quick. And then I'll peek over to what you guys are saying. Ugh, this is one thing where you mess up by picking up a frying pan, which is why I put a butchering knife right here. I put a butchering knife here so that I can put the frying pan back quickly, because otherwise it'll say you cannot put a frying pan inside of another frying pan. So I did it again. See, so I have the butchering knife so I can drag it back and just drop it on the butchering knife and it puts it right in here. Okay, let's see here. Fill these pans. Grab this meat, fill the pan, fill, and these last three down here. Get rid of these and then just fill with more meat. And like as long as you have meat, you don't run out of meat, then this can go on forever. You just keep doing this over and over and over again. And there's a better way even. There's a way that goes way faster than this. I'm going to show you something about it. I won't do the whole thing, but I'll show you a trick that I learned. What am I doing? I'm doing the wrong thing. Because I'm talking. It's hard to focus on two things at once. Okay. So you like cooking? You're not so much of a grinder, though. I would like to sit down one day and really pump it up. Yeah, you heard this is happening on Epic. Wait. Oh yeah, you may. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Look, we took 2 hours. Okay. The wrap back. Yeah. Okay. So I read that part. Okay. Soul depth attaching ruins. Yes. So they did something that made soul depth actually work. By that point, I already had grinded my soul depth to about 60 or something. And I was kind of happy that they actually did something that made it so that soul depth did something. I used it a couple times. It's actually come in handy a few times. I'm putting the wrong thing again in. And that's because I need to grab more meat from here. Okay, I'll just get through this round and then I'll stop. Although honestly, how long have I been filling these pans for? Not, it hasn't been like 20 minutes, has it? Has it been maybe 10 minutes or something of filling pans? You know, I'm going to probably look back on this video and I'll time how long I was filling pans and see how much. Or what I should have done is I should have put on Wurm Assistant before this, but I didn't, so that's okay. I'm going to run out of room in here. So I have to go to the next shelf. I should bring this closer a little bit. Some lag there. This is definitely not the optimal way to fill pans. Like, it might look like I'm going pretty fast, but I'm actually going super slow compared to what I've seen some people do. I knew this guy who could fill 1,000 pans, 1,000 pans, and the pans would have 2 items in them. So he'd fill a meat and a veggie, and he could fill 1,000 pans in under 10 minutes. So I knew that guy. And then there was another guy on the forums. I didn't know him, but he was vocal about his abilities to fill pans. And he claimed he could do it in under 5 minutes. 1,000 pans in under 5 minutes. Now, try as I might, and using all the strategies that I could at my disposal, my best time for 1,000 pans was 12 minutes. And I figure I can't believe that 5-minute guy. Like, there's no way. Yeah. 10 minutes I could see. Like, I definitely wasn't the fastest I could have been. There was you make an error here, you make an error there. Like, as if you make no errors, I could see 10 minutes. And I saw a guy do it in 10 minutes. We had a contest. He had 1,000 pans, I had 1,000 pans. We went 1, 2, 3, go, fill, and we were filling. Am I using pans? So right now, so what I did was I took the raw meat, put them in the pans, right? And here's where you get the optimal gains. You have the pans going, and as the pans are finishing, you're pulling out and putting back in, and then you fill the pottery bowls, and you continue doing both of those at the same time. So you're pulling out of the frying pans, refilling the frying pans, reloading into the pottery bowls, and both are going at the same time. Okay, now I have it at a very suboptimal setup where the pans and the bowls are in the same, and I have to keep scrolling up and down. That's not very efficient. Not to mention, I'm using this strategy, but there's a way better strategy. Okay, and the way better strategy is to have a lot of frying pans in a lot of ovens. So maybe 10 ovens, 100 frying pans each, so that's 1,000. And I would say that that's a starter setup, right? Yeah, and then you basically fill all the frying pans with the ovens cold. Fill all the frying pans, just get everything in there. Just spend all the time, fill every single pan, right? And then you light the forges, turn on your sleep bonus, and sit back and watch the gains. And it's amazing to watch it. At this low hot food cooking, it's just like skyrocketing it up. That's the best way. And maybe one day I'll show that once I get the whole setup and everything. Open skills tab. I think it's already open. What skill are you looking for? Oh, you're wondering why it's open. Why was it open? I don't even know. It was open because I was looking for my body strength. And then I never closed it. Oh, this needs to go here. Yeah. And I'm definitely relaxed about that. I'm not, if I'm like really going for gains and I'm going to spend a good amount of time on it, I really focus on, but here mostly I just want to do one round. What did I spend? 18 minutes of sleep bonus. I might as well turn it off. These gains are going slow. Okay. So now the next thing I want to show. Yeah, and that's not bad, right? Like it actually is longer than 15, like 20 minutes because I have really high the calories, carbs, fats, and proteins, and one of those. I'm going to take this off. One of those makes it so that sleep bonus doesn't go back, doesn't go down. It's like every so often the sleep bonus will come back up. I'm not sure exactly how it is. The idea is it's supposed to reduce the rate at which sleep bonus is being used. So it's going to be a little bit longer than 20 minutes. But definitely not so optimal. So I could definitely get better than that. But that's not bad. 3.5 points in that small time. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few meals. These were just breakfasts. And meals are better for filling the CFP bars, and they're also better for giving you nutrition. Oh, this spider. This spider. Okay. So the way I'm going to do meals is I'm just going to take raw meat and I'm going to combine it with a veggie. Okay, and let's just see. I have some corn here. So let's bring some corn over and let's just do 30 meals, okay? We'll do 30 of those, and I don't know. It doesn't matter what kind of meat. Something that 30 will bring it down. Let's see. Okay, let's do seafood because there's 41 there. 30. Oh, and 30 doesn't fit. So I'll put 10 more here. Okay, so let's do it like this. Oh, it didn't work. 10. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you this trick. Okay. Some of you might know this trick, but it's a trick. And it's for filling pans. And you can do this with 2 items, you can do it with 3 items, you can do it with how many items you want. Okay. By the way, if you didn't notice, this is my inventory. The left one's my inventory. And the reason why is because I feel like dragging towards the right is faster, at least for me. And it could be for some other people. Okay. Okay. So the first thing you need to know about this trick is that you have to change the setting because by default it's not set this way. It's under the Games tab, and it's down, 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 right here. Enable Shift Drag in GUI. That needs to be enabled. And default Shift Drag value, I think by default it's 10. You need to bring that down to 1. Okay? So with those 2 set, then this should work. Okay? So I'm going to have to tell you what I'm holding here on the keyboard. Okay, so what I'm going to hold is Control. And I'm using the right control because I also want to be really close to enter because I'm going to have to also hold enter. Okay, so I'm going to start by holding control. And what control allows you to do is select the items that you want to grab. Okay, so you can select as many items. I can select this string cloth, I can select this knife. Notice how I'm selecting, I can just click and select, right? But all I want to select is the corn and the meat. Okay, and if you want to load 3 items into the pan, you click the 3rd item. Okay. And sometimes you like if you're doing this on a mass scale, what you'll do is have 3 backpacks or 3 satchels, and each one has 100. Okay. And then you'll have 100 pans in your oven. And so a full set of backpacks can fill a full forge, and then you can repeat after the first forge is done. Okay. And for this, I'm going to use frying pans because frying pans will make meals. I'm going to refuel the forge because it's going to go out right in the middle of this. So that's not the forge, but the oven. I spend too much time in front of a forge. Okay. And let's also get rid of these breakfasts. Okay, so here I'm going to make some meals. Okay. So I'm going to hold control. I select these 2. I'm going to keep holding control. I'm now going to hold shift as well. Okay. And this part is tricky. So I'm going to grab one of these 2 items, pull them over to the frying pan, and that's going to open up a little dialog window. And the default is going to be 1, and that's because you set the default in that setting to 1. If you didn't change the default setting to 1, it'll be default to 10 or something like that. And now I'm going to press enter and hold down enter. So now I'm holding control, I'm holding shift, and now I'm holding enter. And look what happened. 1 corn and 1 meat went into the first frying pan. Okay, I didn't let go. I am still holding control, shift, and enter. And I'm going to drag into the next frying pan, and into the next frying pan, and into the next. Okay. And normally you don't have the frying pans open like this. Normally you'll have this all collapsed and just like this so that it doesn't. Whoops. I think in the first, I have to fill it up first. Okay. And that way you can just go click, 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 ding, 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 and keep filling them. Okay. Now, this is a great way to fill a lot of pans really quick. Okay. Now, what I'm doing here isn't optimal for skill gain. I'm going to turn on sleep bonus only because I have a ton of sleep bonus. And what's going to happen is I'm going to put my guy to sleep and I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning with 5 hours of sleep bonus anyway. It doesn't matter if I waste some. But I wouldn't normally use this for skill gain the way that I'm doing it here. For skill gain, I would do that pan filling trick where I'd have a whole setup with 1,000 pans in 10 forges, and each forge has 100, not forge, but oven. Each oven has 100 frying pans, and I would take 100 meat, 100 corn, and if I needed to increase the difficulty, I could take 100 parsley or something like that as well, or 100 of another vegetable, and I'll just fill the pans in the cold forge. And then once all 1,000 pans are filled, I light them all, I turn on my sleep bonus, and just watch it all happen. Okay, now this meal is a lower quality, but it's going to be a higher, what's it called? Nutritional value than the breakfast. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I don't know if there's anything. Why isn't there anything that I can use to see what nutritional value it has? I mean, it says it has a good nutritional value. Let's see what the breakfast says. It has a medium nutritional value. Okay, so the meal is going to give you more nutritional value. It also helps fill the CFP bars a little bit better than a breakfast would. Breakfasts are like low. Yeah, veggie and meat at the same time, and actually, however many items you want at the same time, you can just select them all. You would need stacks of stuff. So like, what I would used to do is I'd have 3 backpacks and I'd have one backpack that had 100 meat, and the other backpack had 100 corn, and another backpack that had 100 parsley or whatever else I needed. And I would control and select them all, and then shift, drag, enter, and just shift, drag, and just drag them. Fill the whole 1,000. You know what the most grueling part about pan filling is emptying. Oh, did it again. The most grueling part about pan filling is emptying. Because that's the part where you've already got the skill gain. The emptying is just painful. Because at the end of the emptying, it's not like you got anything better. You don't get any benefit of that. There were times where instead of emptying, what I would do is I would just let the food rot. I'd just wait a week, and then I'd come back and the food would be all rotted, and I'd repeat the whole thing. Fill it all up, get the skill gains, and just wait till next week until the food is all rotted. Yeah, control, shift, enter. Yeah, I know, it's like part of the game, but it's like nobody knows about it except for those people who pan fill. That's the pan filling secret. Do I use a forge or an oven? Right now I'm using an oven, and there's a reason for using the oven right now, particularly for this thing, right? So control, shift, and I've learned that you only hit the enter after the first pop-up happens. So I hold the enter, and now from now on, I don't have to press the enter again, okay? So I'm going to show you why I use oven. So they say when you're skill gaining, what you want is that the difficulty of the action is in the range of like maybe 10 or 15 below your skill. Somewhere in that range, maybe 10 below your skill. Okay. Now, to find the difficulty, you just go to lore, and it says current difficulty 40. Right? To just make a meal in a frying pan in an oven, the difficulty is 40. Okay. But if I took that same frying pan and I put it in a forge, forge will add 15 more difficulty. I'm pretty sure you can make meals in a forge. unless they change that. Um, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a meal in the forge. I can check. Let's check. Put this in a forge and now a lore. Yeah. So notice now the difference. The forge added 10 difficulty. Okay, so the reason why I don't put it in the forge is because it'll make it more difficult, and therefore the outcome is going to come out at a lower quality on average. Okay, and my hot food cooking is only 30, right? So really, making these meals is not good skill, even though my skill is still going up. I'm almost at 4 now. Okay, but it's not as good skill because it's more difficult, and so I'm going to fail more often. You'll notice I didn't fail too bad though. Like 12, I got a 12 quality meal. That's still giving me a tick. Those are still giving me skill gains. So I feel like it's okay to do that for skill gain. It's just the higher the difficulty, the more chance you're going to get a 1. And you'll notice I made a whole bunch of meals somewhere. Wait, where? Maybe breakfast. See, I thought I was being smart, and what I did was I diced all the meat, then I minced it, then I fried it, then I like chopped all the veggies and made like a ton of stuff. And then I put it into the bowls, and because of all those actions, it made the difficulty so much higher. So I got like 1 quality meals out of this. I didn't like that, so I don't think I'm going to do that again. And these were breakfasts too. And then notice I didn't do anything but dice, and I got all of these higher quality breakfasts. All the hot ones. Look at all these hot ones. These ones are all the higher quality ones. And all the ones I made yesterday or the day before are low quality. Okay, so I'm going to bring some of these over to the Alliance grocer so that people can have food. Yeah, forges just add difficulty. So what's going to happen is, let's say I get my skill up to like 60 or something like that. Then I'll go over to the forge and make those meals again. And that's going to help with skill gain. Yeah, exactly. If you're starting out and you're just like at the beginning, yeah, don't do what I was doing before. That's the best thing to start, is just take raw meat, put it into a frying pan. Yeah, raw meat, put it into a frying pan. Once it's done, take it out of the frying pan, put it into a pottery bowl. Okay, for that 1 piece of meat, you're going to get 2 skill gain chances. And yeah, that's the best strategy. Okay, you only need one piece of meat. So just you go out and hunt for a little bit, you get a ton of meat now that the spawns are better. And yeah, once you have a good stock of meat, like we did a ton of hunting at the beginning. And I don't want to say like a ton, like our fight skill is like only in the 20s or something. Like my fighting is 24. So it's not like we did a lot of fighting, but we did enough to collect. And I went over to Antier. Like the first thing I did after bringing back a massive haul, I gave 1,000 of our meat to Antier because he was going to do all the food cooking. And he got his skill up into the 60s with it. And I still have like 500 meats from horse, another 478 from lamb, 200 beef ones. Like it's just, I have more meat than I could use, I think, or now. Anyway. Like, and I just got 4 skill, and I think I used 100 meat, just 100 meat.